The smell of vacation. Something that a lot of us haven't been on in a long time. Smells like coconut, smells like sun, smells like rum punch. Because of this Hawaiian tropic, today I'm going to attempt a coconut cream pie. I've never made coconut cream pie. I do love coconut cream pie, and this weekend it was Phil's birthday. I got some Hawaiian tropic for Mother's Day. I was smelling it. I could see the sad face on his little face when he didn't have a birthday cake. We were talking about coconut cream pie at work, so what better thing to do today than attempt to make one together. This is a recipe that I found in Bon Appetit. I thought it was interesting because it has a caramel layer, it's got the coconut custard, and it's got a graham cracker crust. So we're gonna do the three parts, the caramel, the crust, and the custard. We're gonna put it all together, and then maybe we'll even get Phil and Zoe in to enjoy a slice at the very end. So first things first, we're gonna make a crust. Often when I've had like coconut cream pie, because I usually buy it, it's with an actual pastry crust, which I am actually really good at making. But today we're gonna do a graham cracker crust. Super easy. I've got whole graham crackers, so I'm gonna use about 7 of these.
Graham crackers, I find they're like something that I always had around when we were kids, but you know, I don't see them around that much these days.
Well, no, you don't, because I actually had trouble finding them. I found like graham, like cracker, like crumb, but graham crackers, and they're so good. Actually, the kids found them and ate a bunch of them. I've also toasted just some unsweetened coconut. I'm gonna put half in my crust, and then I'm gonna save some as well for the caramel. So I'm gonna put some of this in here as well. And I've got some sugar. And then I'm basically just gonna blitz this. So I've blitzed this together. I've got like a fairly like medium kind of crumb. And to this I'm gonna add some butter that I have melted. And I'm also gonna add an egg yolk and just a little bit of salt. We've got a fairly nice crumb that is actually like sticking together, which is what we want. I'm just going to form my crust into my pie plate, and I've got my oven on at about 350, because it's gonna take about 12 to 15 minutes. And all you wanna do is cook this until the edges are brown and it is slightly firm. This is also a good crust that you could use for, I know we were talking about like doing like a key lime pie, or like a lemon meringue pie. All right, so I've got this pressed in, so it's nice and firm and tight. Give it one more round, and then I'm just gonna put this into the oven to brown. All right, so we've got our graham cracker crust is in the oven. Now we're gonna make caramel. I don't know if you remember the carrot cake episode where we made caramel sauce. This is very similar. So I'm gonna start off with my sugar, and I've got a heavy bottomed pot. And all you wanna do is basically start to melt the sugar. You don't wanna play with it too much. You don't want it to burn, but once it gets melted, then we're gonna actually add heavy cream. And in the old caramel that we made, we added butter. And this time, instead of butter, we're gonna add coconut oil. And we're also gonna add some of the toasted, shredded coconut that we had in the crust as well. The caramel has started to melt, and it is starting to darken. Remember, we want that like caramel, like amber color. So now I'm gonna turn this off, and I'm gonna add my heavy cream. Remember, it's gonna like bubble up, so be very, very careful. You don't wanna burn yourself. And at this point, I'm gonna add some of that coconut as well. And I'm gonna add my coconut oil.
You love pina coladas.
I do love pina coladas. I mean, you can't drink too many. I think we all have learned our lessons with drinking too many pina coladas. But it makes me think that maybe this summer we could do like a cocktail episode.
Totally.
All I'm doing is I put in all my ingredients. I'm just waiting to melt in my coconut oil. And then I'm just going to set this aside for a few minutes so it can cool before we put it into our crust. So basically I'm just going to spread this, and then I'm going to set this aside, and you want this to cool down completely, and we're going to make our coconut custard that's going to go on top. So I've got a can here of coconut milk, so I'm just going to pour it into my pot.
I love that can.
I know you love this can. It reminds me of vacation.
I know, it's amazing. It's like a scene of 2 coconuts with waterfalls of coconut water coming out of them.
So our vanilla and coconut milk have come to a simmer. I've simmered it for a few minutes just to let it reduce. I'm going to add a cup of cream to this. So I'm just going to turn this down and just let it just be on low heat. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to mix my eggs. So I've got 4 egg yolks and 1 whole egg. I'm going to add half a cup of white sugar, a pinch of salt, always a pinch of salt when baking, brings out the flavor and everything, and cornstarch, which works magically for lots of things, but I always find it so messy. I'm going to turn this off, it's going to stay warm, and I'm going to just mix all this together. And I want to kind of whip it by hand until it kind of becomes like pale yellow. Make sure there's no lumps. So what I want to do now is temper my eggs because we don't want scrambled eggs. I'm going to add just a little bit of my hot liquid to my egg mixture and then just whisk that in. Because what would happen is if you put this into your hot liquid, you basically would just end up with scrambled eggs. So I'm just going to pour this back into my liquid, and we're going to basically cook this until it starts to thicken. So I've been cooking this for about 3 or 4 minutes, and you can tell it's got a beautiful, nice, thick consistency. One more trick to this. I've got some coconut oil. I'm going to put it in the bottom of my bowl. And then I'm just going to sieve right on top of this. And that is also good in case you have any lumps from the eggs or the cornstarch. And all I'm going to do is press this through. Make sure that it's all mixed in together.
So straining it like that will make it nice and silky smooth, I guess.
Well, it'll make it nice and silky smooth. And if you have any like clumps of like egg or cornstarch or anything, and if you had used a vanilla bean, then it'll catch your vanilla bean as well.
Renee, what kind of pie would you use if you were going to pie somebody in the face?
Coconut cream.
I feel like it would be a good one.
Banana cream.
Banana cream. Coconut cream. Have you ever been pied in the face before?
No, and I would rather not be pied in the face. And I'm just going to make sure that my coconut oil is all mixed in here, so it's nice and glossy. And we're going to let this cool. Now, if you were in a hurry, you could also cool this just on top of an ice bath. So basically a bowl with ice and some cold water. But I'm just going to set it aside for about 10 minutes so it's not raging hot. And then we're going to pour it into our pie shell that has the caramel. And then you want to chill it for at least 3 hours because you want it to be firm because you don't want soupy pie. So the pie has been in the fridge for a little over 3 hours. It's firm to the touch. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a really easy whipped cream to go on top. All right, so I'm going to basically just whip this to about soft peaks. I'm going to add a little bit of sugar to this. Not a lot, probably about like a tablespoon or 2.
How's that arm feeling?
Obviously I'm out of shape. So I've got some nice soft peaks. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to dress up this pie and add a little bit of this beautiful flaked coconut, and I'm going to call the kids in and I'm going to let them be the judge of my work. right.
This looks really good. Looks amazing.
Well, Phil, I'm sorry that this pie, which was supposed to be for your birthday, is a few days late. But hopefully it was worth it.
What did you make with the crust?
It's just a graham cracker crust, and it's got like some coconut in it. There's coconut in every single layer of this pie.
It tastes like there's caramel in it.
And there's caramel in there too. Well,
It's so good.
I'm glad you guys like it. Obviously it's kid approved. We'll see if it's Doug approved later on when he tries a piece. But hopefully you enjoyed it. Make sure to leave comments, hit like and subscribe. And I do read the comments because I need to know what to make for next week. But maybe you guys can give me some ideas. What should I do next week?
Sweet.
Something sweet. Hard to believe. We've got the biggest sweet tooth known to man living in this house. Anyways, I'm gonna watch these two demolish their pie. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time.